What's up, everyone? All right, well, here we are, first day of September, and I locked up a no red August. That was pretty special. I haven't done that in a while. So I'll do an August month in review a little bit later, not today, but maybe tomorrow. In any case, let's do the recap for today's trade. So started September off with a bang, $18,000 in profits, continuing the green streak, recent IPOs, those were what were hot today, and I think I left some money on the table because there were some huge moves. I traded well, but I felt like I had a little hard time getting dialed in. We'll break it down during the recap. As always, reminder, my results are not typical and trading is risky, so make sure you take it slow, all right? I encourage you to trade in a simulator before you put real money on the line. And those of you that are Warrior Starter or Warrior Pro members, you have access to a trading simulator as part of your membership. So I encourage you to use it. Those of you guys that are watching on YouTube that aren't already part of the community, check out the links going on right now. I'll put them right down in the description. We've got a sale going on. It's a back to school sale. Coupon code SchoolSpirit40 will save you 40% on both the Warrior Starter and the Warrior Pro. Both include access to the day trade chat room, the simulator, scanners. The starter is my day trading basics class. It's a 15 chapter course. The Pro includes basics and includes all of the strategy development classes that are part of the Warrior Pro curriculum. So I hope you guys check that out. Links in the description, and I hope you enjoy the recap. I'll see you guys first thing tomorrow, Friday, for the morning show. Let's try to finish this week off with another couple of good trades. All right, I'll see you in the morning. All right, well, I'm gonna record my recap here. We'll go over the trades from this morning. I think I left a lot on the table today, but it was a little bit tricky, and I wanted to be careful because I did have a little FOMO from missing some of the big moves yesterday. So yesterday, as you probably recall, we had ATXG. This thing went just absolutely crazy. You know, I don't even really know what to think about these moves. They're just insane, and to be honest, it's not even really tradable. Like this price action today, there's only 60,000 shares of volume. You know what I mean? So like yesterday had 500,000 shares. It's crazy how high it went. You know, on the daily chart there. But pre-market or after hours yesterday up to, you know, over $1,000 a share, but on only 2,000 shares of volume. So I don't know that this type of move really is going to be able to trigger a lot of FOMO, but what did pick up, so while ATXG was squeezing yesterday and sort of, you know, I kind of was aware that that was moving, but I didn't trade it, SHPH IPO ends up pulling back and then squeezing big time. So it IPO'd, hits a high of like $25. It drops 50%, goes down to like 13. Then it halts up right here. And this was about the time that ATXG was starting to squeeze. So what sometimes happens is you'll have a stock that's making a really big move, but that stock may not be tradable because it's too expensive. Let's think back to GameStop, right? So when GameStop started to make that really big move, there were a number of other sympathy momentum stocks, and I actually made possibly as much or even more on those than I made on GameStop. Why? The prices were lower. I could buy more shares. They were more liquid. It was easier to trade. The spreads were tighter. And so I traded them more. And I think that's kind of what we ended up having happen earlier I guess last month in August on HKD, right? So HKD in August makes a similarly crazy move. It IPOs, not in the same day, but it just grinds over the course of like 4 or 5 days up to $2,500 a share, right? So this thing just went crazy, and we got a little sympathy momentum. So like Meg L, we got sympathy momentum on this on the day that it went from $50 a share to $235 a share. But again, this one had, on that day, it was, looks like 660,000 shares of volume. The volume was still pretty light. But we got into this rhythm last month where we were seeing momentum on a lot of IPOs and recent IPOs. And so, just I think it was yesterday, the 3 stocks I traded were all recent IPOs. MOB, somewhat recent IPO. JZ, dead cat bounce, somewhat recent IPO. It's still not even really bouncing off the low. I made $200 on it today, but Miguel, that one gave us a nice dead cat bounce, which was pretty epic back here, where it bounced from 8 up to like $25 a share. 300-400% bounce. That's phenomenal. So with ATXG making this really big move, it wouldn't surprise me that most of you wouldn't have traded it. It was way too expensive. The spreads were crazy. And, I heard some of you guys traded it with small share size, and whatever, that's fine. I mean, if your risk tolerance allows it and small share size, you saw it, it's fine. But we ended up yesterday having much better and probably cleaner action on SHPH, being a little cheaper, but it still wasn't easy, right? So it halted up multiple times. It halted down, halted back up, halted down, halted back up, up, down, up, halting back down, and then drops all the way back to 30 before this morning rallying back up. So this is the one that I traded today and did the best on, and I'll go over the trades on that. But I left some money on the table by missing some of the others that made big moves. GCT made some big moves. I traded it at the very top of the first move, and I knew I was in a little too high, and I just got out for $200 profit. And then I didn't get back in here because it was below VWAP, and then it got above, but I just didn't feel like going back. Today is the first day of the new month, and I don't know, I just kind of thought let's just try to get green and hold it together here today. So anyways, Pixie, nice move on this one, really impressive. Reverse split, goes from 16 up to $44 a share. So we had some really big momentum today. BIAF, this one halted. Right. So here you go, right? You've got another, this one just IPO'd. So let's see. So it IPO'd at 12/20/27. This is an IPO that was a little bit delayed. It was supposed to happen last month, I think, but then, I don't know, got delayed for whatever reason. The float is quite low. So that just went from 8 to 974. The problem on these is that, as you could see yesterday on SHPH, this one IPO'd and it sold off. It just immediately sold off. Like you didn't halt up, you just went down. It then bounced, but then it went lower. So it kind of had to settle down before you got that curl. Now on this one, BIAF, this right now looks more like the way, I don't know, MEG-L IPO'd, which was, the MEG-L IPO was immediately halted up instantly. Why? Because traders just wanted to jump in it. They wanted a piece of the action, and so they didn't wait. So it immediately went into a halt up right here at 50. Then it opens and halts down. Then it resumes at $160 a share. It was crazy. But again, borderline untradeable, right? It's just not tradable. It's not easy to trade. And BIAF, I'll say that that's some good volume there. You've got 800,000 shares of volume going into that move. So it pops up to 9, pulls back up to 974. Showing a $10 resumption, this may give more opportunity, but they're hard to manage risk on. Especially when you don't have a lot of chart pattern. You just get these pops, and then it's like, okay, where do I get in? Do I buy for the break of 10? Like a dip and rip long for the break of 10? Maybe, like, it's showing a $10 resumption right now. So like if it opened and dipped down, then a dip and rip, now it's showing 10-12. So then do you do the trade at the $0.50? And what happens if you get in and then all of a sudden someone dumps 100,000 shares and it just whips down? Because then the chart is like ruined. You're gonna have this big red candle, and then you're gonna have to have this long period of consolidation like you had on SHPH before maybe you get that curl. So I don't know. I have a really hard time buying on halt resumption on something like this, given what I've seen on these, which is, you know, 2 halts up and then like 5 halts down. So anyways, I would say that that one to me is a side chart to watch. If it starts to form some type of pattern where I can establish a better risk to reward ratio. Your reward is like, oh, maybe it goes to 20, but your risk is, well, it could, that's, the reward is a very hard maybe, and the risk is, you know, this could flush and halt down and then you're stuck. So anyways, so this morning when I sat down, my first trade was on JZ, and I made 200 bucks on it. So this one I got in right as it was popping up here. As it broke through 40, I jumped in. It was in this little stretch. So I rode the momentum there, made 200 bucks on it. 2,500 shares. I was testing the water with small size. I really wasn't sure I trusted it. I was like, I don't know about this. We'll see. And tested it, took a trade, and then just got out with 8 cents or whatever. I just was like, I don't know, I'm not feeling it. So then my next trade was along on SHPH. I tried to buy 250 shares. I only filled 50 of that order. So I was like, all right, well, whatever. So I've got 50 shares, and that was like right in this area here. It was actually on this candle here. So I bought 50 shares. It pops up, that was at $75. It pops up to $76.88, drops down, and eventually I ended up selling it for $175 loss, around there, right, kind of right before that drop. And then I got back in. So we'll look at that trade in a second. Let's watch BIAF here. Now let's see if it resumes on a 5-minute long halt. 5 minutes is going to be coming up right now. Okay, so this is a 5-minute long halt. It's not resuming yet. It's showing 10:45. That's tricky because, again, it's a big gap up, 75 cents. You could do a dip and rip for the break of 10.50, but, you know, like I said, if all of a sudden someone dumps a big order, it's going to flush it back down, and yeah, I don't know. All right, so still halted. So we'll watch for resumption in another 5 minutes. It looks like a 10-minute long halt. Your stop, yeah, is down here at like 8, the low. So that's a good ways away. All right, so anyways, so back to SHPH. So first trade on it, lost $175, and then, but I said I'm still watching this level here because this thing is holding up. It's holding VWAP, and I was like, you know, I could have just held my 50 shares. My stop initially, I set a 10-point stop on the 250. That's $2,500. So I was like, I'll risk $2,500 on this. If it breaks 75, 85, 90, I'm looking for the move up to 100, right? So that's the potential. I stopped out before it broke down. It didn't actually hit my stop. I just bailed on it. Kind of got a little bored. And then right here, it pops back up. And I was like, all right, you know what? Shoot. Here we go. So let's see. Let me look at my my orders on this. So I got back in this at 76, 77, and 80, adding 250 shares each time. Added at 82, so now I'm at 1,000 shares. Added at 88. This thing squeezed, and I added again at 99. So basically added, which is crazy, added between the ranges of $77 a share, $76 a share, and $99 a share. Just, that was all in a 1-minute candle. So scaled in, it breaks 100. I saw 110 on the ask. It didn't hit 110. I took profit at $102.54. Took profit more at 98 and 97 as it came back down. And then I added back at 97. It popped back up to 107. That was 150 shares. Bought 150 shares at 97 and sold them at 107. Right there. I mean, that was a 10 points, 1,500 bucks. GCT, some traders. This is another one that like I said, you know, it's a nice ABCD pattern right there. And this thing is strong. It's a recent IPO. It's got the momentum, but same with HPCO today. I mean, you had a number of stocks that showed some strength, real strength. but I just started to feel a little, I don't know, a little timid today. Like I just wasn't, I was like, I don't know. And part of that is because SHPH didn't hold and it ended up reversing hard. At the open, I got another trade on it long into the halt. This was a 5-minute bull flag right here. So bought this for the break back over 100. It halted up at 108. It resumed and hit a high of day of $126.26. I think my best exit was 123. But then it halted down. It opened higher, came back up, and then halted down a second time, a third time, and a fourth time. And I started considering a dip trade, and then I just said, you know what? I'm going to leave this thing alone. Well, it did end up rallying back up a bit, and I don't know if it's going to give us more, but at that point, I just felt like, you know, I'm not liking this. And on HPCO, I initially, we got this squeeze here, and I was watching it on resumption, and I had watched it pre-market, and I almost took this trade right here at $9.18. And something about it just, I don't know, I was like, I'm just not sure. It feels weird. And I'm saying that because what felt weird was the spread and the level 2. I mean, we were having these kind of just like big drops where you'd have like $9 on the bid, and then it was like $8.80 on the bid. Like the bid just pulled 20 cents, and you're like, what is going on? It's all of a sudden that bid, which I thought was my stop, is gone, and big sellers were popping up, and so I didn't feel like I could trust it. All right, so let's watch this BIAF coming up for resumption here. So it's showing 1074 now. So there's 1095 and immediately goes up to 11. Now careful, because that formed a topping tail. The high is 1183, but 1050 on the bid. So look at that spread, right? And again, like I said, I just don't know exactly on this one how you can manage risk. So I'm happy to see, you know, stocks moving and holding up, but it's just very difficult to manage risk right now. So nice curl back up, held. You could have done a dip there, but I don't know. Not for me. So anyways, so HPCO, the level 2 price action was a little funny on it. So I left it alone. I was like, I'm just not feeling it. So I ended up missing some opportunities on it. But you know, I could have also lost on it because it was choppy and there were some big red some really pretty nasty flushes here, you know, up here, big topping tail, just tricky stuff. BIAF warrants, that's interesting. So those started trading at the same time. Those continue to trade even during a halt, but I don't know, I don't really like warrants that much. GCT, this one. So, you know, again, recent IPO, price is a little higher. You did get a really nice curl right here. It went below VWAP and then got back above it, and sort of a little inverted head and shoulders for the long back over 21, and a nice move up to 26. A sharp drop back down to 23, and then a curl back here up to 26.50. So some nice action on that one. Going back to Pixie, this one, 3 halts in a row going up, halts down, 1, 2, 3, 4 times. 4 halts in a row going up, then halts down. Halts up, halts down, halts down, halts up, pull back, halt up, squeezing back above VWAP. It needs to get back through 35. This just day has been weird. We've just had so many different stocks moving. It's kind of sympathy momentum, but we don't really have the main stock that's really strong. That's the funny thing. I mean, SHPH, you know, pulled back, and ATXG has pulled way back. So what are these sympathy to? This is FOMO, MOMO. It's just FOMO of maybe missing the big moves yesterday. And I mean, they're moving for sure, but I'm just having a little bit of a hard time on it today. So I undertraded. I didn't capitalize as well as I probably could have, but this is the first day of the month of September, and I just finished a no red August, which is, you know, pretty cool because I haven't done that in a while. So let's see. So that's the calendar there for the month of August. So finished a no red month, which was great. And, you know, I mean, I know that I'm due for a red day. So I'm just, every day that I'm kind of not red, I'm like, nice work. You know, since June, I've had 5 red days. Since July 1st, I've had 2. So, you know, I'm aware of the fact that there's some risk here of me catching a red day, but hitting 18,000 in profit is great. You know, the trade I took at the open that I added 6,000 in profit from, that was on 250 shares. 250 shares. I made $6,000 on 250 shares. That's crazy. I mean, I guess to me it's crazy. I suppose you could have probably made a lot more with 250 shares on AXTG yesterday, but or ATXG, whatever. But in any case, I thought it was pretty solid. So right now, and you know what? This is what I said. So I was talking to someone yesterday, you know, who's talking about the FOMO of missing these big moves. And I was feeling it a little bit too. I was like, you know, refreshing, you know, as I'm running errands and stuff like that. I kept refreshing on my phone the scanners, and I was like, ah, son of a gun, I can't believe I'm missing this. And when I left yesterday, there wasn't like any indication to me. I didn't think that we were going to get those moves. I mean, similar to BIAF, I wasn't paying attention to the AX or ATXG IPO, and the SHPH one I wasn't paying attention to either. And why would I? We'll get the JZ IPO. The last couple IPOs have been trash. They've been terrible. So no, I'm not going to sit around at the end of August in the summer and just stare at my computer all day for an IPO that's probably going to be garbage like this. Right? So I totally missed it. And I was feeling a little FOMO because, granted, I finished the day up 10,000 yesterday. It's twice my daily goal. It's a great day. But, you know, at the same time, I couldn't help but feel a little FOMO that had I continued to trade, you know, maybe I could have had a 6-figure day. You know, maybe I could have made 100 grand if I had bought a nice position on this and just held it, or, you know, ATXG or something. You know, but the fact is, once I actually sat down and looked at the charts, ATXG, I wouldn't have made much money on this because this just had no volume. Spreads were crazy big, and I wouldn't have been able to make money on it. I really don't think. And I think that SHPH would have been sort of similar. I might have been able to do a little bit better on this one since it was sort of the FOMO Momo to ATXG. So it's possible I could have gotten some trades on it, but with those big gaps and halts and likely large spreads, it's also possible I could have lost money on it. So, you know, I don't know. And so what I said is, you know, probably the people who did the best on these are the lottery ticket type of traders who buy and just hold. You know, they're not doing quick breakout scalp trades. They're just like buy and walk away, and then next thing you know, it's up $30, $40, $50 a share, and they're taking profit. And that's, you know, been true with the meme stocks also. And the traders that have done really well in the meme stocks, I don't think are, and this is generalization, it's not going to always be the case, but I think that a lot of people that did the best on those stocks, aside from some expert traders who just were super, super aggressive, but the people who had like one entry, one exit, and made 6 figures, I feel like that is a very different mentality than what it takes to be a successful day trader. Because as a day trader, you have to be disciplined about getting in, getting your profit, and getting out. You cannot overstay your welcome. You can't just hold and hope. Things generally don't go crazy like they did with a lot of these meme stocks. And if you get in the habit of just taking these lottery ticket trades, a lot of them are going to be worthless. You're not going to have big winners on them. So I actually would rather have consistency and predictability versus the occasional home run. Now, if I had made, you know, so my $10 million, you know, 11 million of profit day trading, that's from, I mean, gosh, how many trades have I taken? We can see right here. So I'll just clear this. So this is going to be $11.8 million in gross profit. That's on 21,000 trades. You know what I mean? Like that's over the course of years of trading. So would it have been really cool if I started my career with a, $1 million winner or several six-figure winners on meme stocks? Yeah, that sure, I would have been nice, but at the same time, I really would prefer consistency and predictability versus the the windfall of a couple of Hail Mary passes that connect. I don't know. I'm looking for a little bit more consistency, and that's partly because I approach this from the perspective of I want to do this for a living. I want to not have to have a regular job, so that means I have to be consistent as much as possible. And sometimes you're going to sacrifice some of that glory that comes with the high risk, high reward trade. But if you're walking away in the green, you're doing something that most people haven't figured out how to do consistently, even the people that do, occasionally get those home runs. So I don't know. I was able to kind of talk myself down from the FOMO yesterday by just reminding myself that I just finished a no red month. Consistency is really the top priority for me. And once I looked at those charts this morning, I didn't feel too bad that I missed them because I realized how difficult they would have been to trade. So, my goal for the month of September, I don't really have a monetary goal other than, I'd like to I still have my $5,000 daily goal, but I recognize that there'll be some days where I don't hit that and other days that I do. So, if I guess that 5,000 a day is about 100,000 a month. That would be nice. I came up a little short of that in I think June and July, but then I certainly blew through that in August. So, and now I'm 18% of the way to the 100 grand goal, and it's only the 1st of September. So I think it's a good goal. 25,000 a week, 5,000 a day. And some days I'll beat it. Some days I'll come up short. I'm not going to, sweat it too much. But today's a day where I did trade fairly well. I under traded a bit. I was a little confused by the sort of dispersed momentum across so many different stocks. There's BIAF going up to 13. I just worried about a topping tail and a halt down, but there's another halt up at 1375. So, for me, like, if I had gotten in this, like, right here, I think I probably would have been scared off on that red candle and taken profit. I would have been afraid of holding into a halt down. And then, it rips back up here. If I got in right there, I think I would have taken profit right here. That's just, I wouldn't have just held and hoped. Now, I think it is worth being aware of the market you're in, and this might be the day to let it ride a little bit more on something like this, given the action that we've been seeing. This might be the day to stick around a little longer to see when it does pull back, where does it base out, and does it form a clean pattern that then you can use for a curling setup for the next leg up. Because that's all that might end up being, the safest places to trade it if it holds up. So I don't know, but the recent IPOs have been tricky. So we've had a couple that have been great, and then we've had a couple that have just been totally brutal. I don't know. That makes it a little difficult. But second day continuation, dead cat bounces, and curling patterns, those are good. And you had a nice curling pattern on SHPH yesterday. So that's what I might sort of look for today on BIAF is, where does it pull back? And then does it start to curl back up? So anyways, that's it for me. Overall market today, you can see still pulling back a bit. We're on a leg down in the overall market, which, by itself has made me a little bit cautious. But You know, after that nice move up, we've already given back half of it. We'll see where we base out and whether or not we start to hold support at any of these pivots that I have drawn out and then make a move back up. All right, so that's it for me. Thank you guys for tuning in for the recap. Good luck if you keep trading, manage your risk, and we'll be back at it first thing tomorrow morning. All right, I'll see you in the morning. I hope you really enjoyed that video, and make sure you hit the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Our goal is to hit 1 million subscribers this year, but we won't get there without your help. So please, please, please hit that subscribe button.